He says, no one has ever seen God. God, the only Son, who is at the Father's side, he has made him known. John is very unambiguous with his words here. No one has ever seen God. He's taking us all the way back to Moses on Sinai. Moses says, God, let me see your face. And God says, you can't see my face, but I'm going to reveal a lot about who I am. I'm going to share my name with you today. No one has ever seen God face to face until now. It's God, the only Son. Jesus is fully divine. He is a part of our triune God, Father, Son, and Spirit. God, the Son, who is at the Father's side, has made him known. That phrase right at the end, he has made him known, is the Greek word there is the word exegete. Jesus has exegeted God. Now, exegesis is a biblical term. We use that like Bible teachers. When I preach, what I want to do is exegete the Bible. What that means is I want to call forth from the text, what does the text actually say? What did the author intend? What is God saying through the word of God? I want to bring forth what the words on the page are actually intended to mean. The opposite of exegesis would be eisegesis. That's where I read into the text whatever I want it to say. Many people do that, right? We just say, oh, I feel like it should say this. And so I'm just going to manipulate the words. I'm going to say whatever I want it to say because it makes me feel good. And so I'm eisegeting the text. If I'm reading into the text, my own preconceptions and my own agenda into the text, rather than allowing the text to actually breathe and speak in its own right. Well, here, John, it's almost like he's taking up that metaphor and he's saying, well, when you look at Jesus, what you're seeing is the perfect exegesis of God. If you're trying to figure out who is this God, what's he like, what does he do, you look first to Jesus. Jesus is the exegesis of God. He is the clearest and closest picture of God that humanity has ever received. We're talking a lot today about the incarnation. So that's the moment when God himself takes on our humanity. And there are two important aspects of the incarnation. One we talk about a lot. It has to do with how are we saved through the incarnation of Jesus Christ. One of the early church fathers said it like this, for that which he has not assumed, he has not healed. And what he means there is this idea that, well, if Christ did not fully take on our humanity, then we're not fully saved. If Christ did not come and walk in my mortality, in my frailty, in my sin, in my shame, in all of my temptations, Christ came and he assumed my true humanity. He didn't just play act. He wasn't God pretending to be human. He was God taking on my full humanity, ultimately dying on the cross in my place. And so that's a really important part. That's a core to our gospel, is that Christ took on our humanity, and through that, that's how we are saved. But there's another aspect, and I think this is where the prologue of John really shines. The other aspect of the incarnation is that it's in the face of Jesus that we see who God really is. God came so close so that we can look to Jesus and say, that's who God really is. That is the one moment in history that truly exegeted who God was for us. Now, there are other ways, other aspects of creation that can point us in the right direction to God. Right? We talked about this a lot last week. Nature itself, creation, is one of the best signposts to our Creator. And you can actually get pretty far starting to grasp who this God might be just by spending time in his creation. I think if we spend time in just the awe and wonder of creation, we can surmise pretty quickly that God is personal, that he's good, that he's creative, that he loves beauty. Right? We can get pretty far, but it's always going to be an incomplete revelation. It's like Moses on the mountain saying, God, show me your glory. And God says, yes, but not fully. And so if we stop there, we're going to be selling ourselves short. We're going to get a signpost pointing us in the right direction. But what John wants us to see is that it's only in the face of Jesus that we see the fullest revelation of God.